everyone, and welcome to our very first Facebook Live here at Vooks. We are so excited for all of you that are joining us. I see there are tons of friends joining us as we speak. Now, first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Janae. I'm the head of our customer experience team here at Vooks.
And I'm Patty, Education Director at Vooks.
And we're just so excited that you've joined us because we have some fun things we want to show you today. But first of all, I'd like to make sure that everyone knows, what is Vooks? Well, Vooks is a streaming library of read-aloud animated storybooks. It's kid-safe, ad-free, trusted by parents, loved by teachers, and enjoyed by children all over the world. Now, today, we're so excited that you're here with us because we are celebrating National Reading Month.
Our mission at Vooks is to get every child reading. With a subscription to our ever-growing library of titles, you also have access to our activities and resources. To celebrate National Reading Month, we have developed specially themed activities and resources. For more information, please go to vooks.com/readalong. Our theme for this week is Caring for Others and Kindness. Our featured title is And the People Stayed Home by Kitty O'Meara. It is a prose poem written about a year ago in our time of darkness to share hope and inspiration for the future. After we view the title, we will engage together in our activity, Pause and Ponder, which accompanies And the People Stayed Home on our website.
We have so many fun things with these resources, and we're so excited that you will get a chance to see them today.
It is our pleasure now to share And the People Stayed Home by Kitty O'Meara, narrated by Kate Winslet.
And the People Stayed Home by Kitty O'Meara, read by Kate Winslet. And the people stayed home. And they listened. And read books. And rested. And exercised. And made art. And played games. And learned new ways of being. And were still. And they listened more deeply. Some meditated. Some prayed. Some danced. Some met their shadows. And the people began to think differently. And the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed, and the people joined together again. They grieved their losses. And made new choices. And dreamed new images. And created new ways to live. And heal the earth fully, as they had been healed.
I'm sure you all enjoyed reading and the people stayed home. Now we would like to share with you Pause and Ponder. The purpose of Pause and Ponder is to go a little bit deeper into the text and help the reader connect with what's going on. We would like you to type your answers into chat, and we will acknowledge just as many of them as we can. So let's start with the first question. Why would people stay home? What are some reasons that people might want to stay home?
That's such a good question. I think, it can be different for everyone. I would say for me, when everything first started with this, I probably focused on staying home because I wanted to protect the people that I love. There were so many unknowns, and really it was just to protect my loved ones was my biggest focus. What about you, Patty?
I too stayed home because I wanted to be thoughtful of the people around me. Certainly it goes with the theme of caring for others and kindness as the reason that we stayed home. But sometimes, I want to stay home even before the pandemic when I was sick for the very same reason. I didn't want to spread the illness.
Yeah.
But there are other reasons people stay at home too.
Yeah, and we're actually getting a lot of messages from lots of friends. Oh my goodness. Thank you all for being here. We're so excited. Betsy says to protect loved ones. We have friends saying to be safe. That was from Jan. Lucy says to help everyone stay healthy. Pamela says because of COVID. Yeah. Josie says to not get elders sick. Yeah, that's a good point, Josie.
It is a very good point. And being kind is certainly something that we practiced during the pandemic. So some good things are coming from all of us staying at home. But while we were staying at home, we also had to find things to do. So what kinds of things do people do when they stay at home?
Oh man. Well, it was such a different world once we were kind of told to stay home. So for me, I think something fun that I really did with my family was we started playing a lot of games. We did card games. Chess was a big one. I got pretty into chess the last few months, and we've had a lot of fun with that one.
Learning new games certainly is fun. And when you're learning the rules of the games, remember to practice kindness.
Yeah.
Because games can get pretty competitive.
That's true.
One of the things that I enjoyed doing when I was at home was reading. I love to read, but having to be at home gave me extra time to read. So in addition to reading for my work and for school, I also was able to read some books I really wanted to read just for fun.
Yeah, that's so great. We've actually got a lot of people that are also saying read. We had Lucy said decorating and gardening. Melissa said she learned how to make sourdough bread. Lindsay said puzzles. Betsy also said online chatting with friends. That's so good. Amber said exploring the outdoors. Raquel said art. Lots of people saying reading, experiments, Zoom classes. Yeah, these are all really good answers.
Certainly, there were new things that I had to learn because of staying at home. And mentioning Zoom, That was one of them. Being on Zoom, not being able to talk to people, having to look at myself while I was talking. Those were all new things for me. So what are some new ways of being?
Oh man, another one that could have a lot of different answers. For me, I think that like with being at home more, finding new ways of being, I probably focused a lot on learning to cook more. I love to cook, but I haven't done a ton of it. And so I really chose that time to dive into some of the cookbooks that I've had for years and try some new recipes. And I know that my husband benefited from that, which he loved. So that was good.
Finding different things to do, creating new images of ourselves, and always remembering to be kind and caring for others certainly gave us new things to do and new ways of being.
Yeah, and we've got friends that are saying, it looks like, so many messages. You guys are great. Thank you so much. Tommy says, connect and bond with family. That's so good. Let's see. Thank you all for responding. We have so many messages. Josie said writing books. That's really great.
Awesome.
Melissa said slowing down and finding joy in the little things. Betsy said new ways to do work and school. Susan said play virtual games. That's a good one, Susan. I've been doing that too, and it's something totally new for me.
Certainly connecting with family was a new way of being for me as well. I have children who live out of state in addition to 2 at home, and in order to bring our family together, we had to learn new ways of being together.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and new ways of connecting. And one of the things that really was important was learning to listen. So what does it mean to listen deeply?
I think for me, I've really tried to focus on not just listening with my ears, but actually listening with my eyes. So really watching the person that's speaking, even if it's over Zoom, not looking at something over here or, being distracted by what's out the window, but showing that I'm listening by looking with my eyes. I don't know. That's just me.
One of the stories that comes to mind when you share that is when my son was little and I was working in the kitchen and he was telling me about his day at school. One day he stopped and he said, "Mom, listen to me with your eyes." So that is so very important. And that's one of the ways that we can care for each other, is to listen deeply and not always to be thinking of how we want to respond, but actually listen to what people say.
Yeah, that's really good.
But
we've got some people that are sending in messages. Janice said sleeping, relaxing, meditating. We have so many friends saying hi to each other. That's great. Thank you.
Again, the purpose is to connect, to be kind, and so I'm glad during Pause and Ponder you can connect with each other. That's awesome.
Yeah, Kenzie says giving all my attention to the person who's speaking. I love that, Kenzie.
Awesome. However, when we had so much time at home, we also did a lot of introspection, and we had to listen to ourselves as well as to other people. Kitty O'Meara talks about meeting your shadow. What does it mean to meet your shadow?
Wow, that one's deep.
It is. It's a deep one.
For me, I think part of that would be facing my fears. And I think we all have some fears in life. One of my, I'm sure, irrational fears is spiders. So I don't know about all of you at home, but I have fear of spiders, even if they're the teeniest little thing or big ones. My family teases me about it a lot, but spiders get me. So facing my fear of spiders would be a good one, I think, for me.
Well, I can handle spiders, but mice are my big fear. I cannot do mice. And raising boys, we had gerbils and hamsters and all of that, and that was difficult for me. So facing shadows, I think you're right. I think it's facing our fears. One thing we need to remember is that we all had fears during this pandemic, and so we need to be kind to each other. We need to care for each other through facing our fears, because we all had them.
Yeah, and we've got several. Kenzie and Raquel both said reflection. Oh, Lucy said reflecting on the things that are upsetting. Yep, I totally agree with that. Raquel said to see how others view you. Yeah, wow, these are some good messages.
It's awesome to see many of you connecting with the text so deeply, because that certainly is the purpose of Pause and Ponder. During the pandemic, we all suffered, and now we're on the road to healing, I think. So what are people actually healing from? Not just the pandemic, but from other things as well. What are they healing from?
I think loneliness is a big one. I mean, that's something that we all probably faced in some way, just being in this new situation this last year, and loneliness was a big factor for a lot of people. So finding healing from that, I'm hopeful that that's what's happening. I know for me, that was a big part. I'm very social, so it was a challenge to not be able to just go and see my friends whenever I wanted to. So loneliness would be one for me. What about you?
Loneliness is big. I am still not really, I'm on the road to healing because I have started the vaccines and things so that I can travel. But as I shared earlier, my older children live out of state, and I really miss that connection. And so certainly loneliness is a big thing to heal from. And I think my children might say, they will have to then heal from smothering after the loneliness.
Yeah. We're all just going to want to give everybody big hugs.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We've got some messages coming in. It looks like Jamie, who just turned 5, says bed bugs.
Oh, wow.
We have, let's see, Pamela says missing friends. Yes. Helplessness to see your parents become weaker. School events, maybe sickness. Yeah.
Missing all of those things certainly is something that we all need to heal from. Remember that in your interaction with other people.
Definitely.
Because being kind is going to be more important than ever, and caring for other people as well. People weren't the only thing hurt. Before the pandemic, the earth was hurting. The earth is healing now. In what ways is the earth healing from the pandemic, do you think?
That is such a good question. And I think that I see it as people are going to appreciate the earth so much more, being able to now go out and, well, starting to be able to go out and enjoy nature more. And hopefully, I'm hopeful that that means they will be less likely to pollute the earth. And so the earth can then heal from the pollution that it's had for so long. That's my hope for it.
We, during the course of our conversations, we've mentioned gardening, taking walks, things that we did to deal with the pandemic. I think we all gained a new appreciation for what nature has to offer us. And I think now caring for the earth is going to be more important than ever. We need to be kind to each other, we need to be kind to ourselves, and we need to be kind to the earth as well.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, Melissa says less pollution and driving. Gabriella says healing from so much smog. Oh, and Jamie, I apologize. He said bad bugs, not bed bugs earlier. Sorry about that, Jamie. It looks like David also said the earth is healing from carbon dioxide. Yeah, we've got, oh my goodness, there are so many friends here. I love it. We're getting so many of your messages, and I know we can't read all of them each time, but we do see them, and thank you for sending them in.
And so appreciate you sharing your thoughtful responses.
Definitely.
Kitty O'Meara also talks about danger in the poem. What was the danger?
The really obvious one for me is people getting sick. And, you know, we talked about protecting our loved ones, and it's not just the loved ones, it's the strangers, it's your neighbor that you've maybe never met. But definitely we need to be cautious of that danger of people getting sick.
I think that's true. We also need to be cautious of the danger that people suffer because we're unkind. And certainly exposing people to the virus or exposing other people to our illness when we're sick, certainly that's not showing kindness.
Yeah.
But there are other things that we do that are not kind to people, and I think that's also a danger that we face.
Yeah, that's a good point. Margarita says that maybe animals can get sick too. She asked that as a question. I don't know. That's a good question. And
I don't
Carissa
know.
says COVID-19. Yep. Yeah, it seems like everyone's kind of in agreement about people or animals getting sick, which we want to be very careful about.
And Kitty O'Meara wrote this poem actually not to talk so much about the danger and the shadows that we face, but about hope and about inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at this final picture from the title "And the People Stayed Home," how do you feel?
You know, I'm looking at this picture, and the big thing that I feel is hope. I feel hopeful seeing the future that we can have, and you know, it was a rough year for a lot of people, but if you look at this picture, there's so many different things that people are doing, and it really makes me feel hopeful.
I think we have many things to be hopeful for, and I hope that we use the last year that we've spent in the pandemic to do exactly what Kitty O'Meara talks about in the poem, and that we are kinder to each other and we do care more about other people.
Yeah. Lindsay says that picture looks very peaceful. Nicole also says hopeful. Yes. Carissa says happiness. Melissa, says hope that we can maintain the good things from this year and leave behind the bad things.
I love that.
Yeah, that's really good.
What a great way to end the questions for Pause and Ponder.
So good.
Included in the Pause and Ponder activity are always questions that can be asked after the entire title has been viewed. It can be shared at any time. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be watching the title as you ask the questions. So we'd like now for you to have an opportunity to ask questions so that we might answer, but as you are putting them in chat, I would like to share with you one of the after viewing questions. So go ahead and put your questions that you have in general about Vooks or about the title or about what we're doing next week into the chat box, and we will discuss the question, what losses did you experience during the pandemic?
I mean, this goes back to kind of what I said earlier, but the social aspect, and it's so different for everyone, and I do take it seriously, and I think this can affect people very intensely, but for me, I'm a social person, so it really affected me to not be able to spend quality time with the people that I love, and just getting out and doing fun things, like that was a big one for me.
I missed those things as well, certainly, but I have to say I missed my family, and I really came to realize during the pandemic that how important family really is, and that sometimes I take them for granted.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good question we just got, was what did you learn during the pandemic? And it sounds like you just answered that. So
that's what I learned, and I also learned to be kinder to myself. Take
That's
time.
good. Yeah, that's so good, Patty. It looks like we do have some questions coming in. Now, these are questions about books, questions about what we've been doing today, and we do have a question of what age group is Vooks geared toward?
That's a good question. We have titles for most age groups. As you can tell, this poem certainly is applicable to the older student. Many of our books are for younger students as well. The general age range currently of our titles would probably be from 3 to 9, I would say.
Yeah, I think I would, that's probably pretty good. I was going to say 2 to 8, but I do know that we have people of all ages that love it. I mean, there are some hilarious books in there that you parents will get a kick out of, and your kids will love as well. So there's quite a range there, even though technically our targeted age is about 2 to 8. But.
And I also have to say that read-alouds are very important from the very beginning. So sharing a title with your very young child, even though they may not be able to read it, certainly I think is valuable as well.
Yes. Okay, we have so many questions. Some of these, Grace asked if we can answer her question. I'm looking for it. I'm sorry, there's so many questions, but you guys are great for sending them in. Let's see. Megumi, oh, that was the question we asked of what did you learn during the pandemic? So we got that one. Let's see. Looks like there's some people asking questions to each other. I'm glad to see
That's
we
awesome.
have multiple friends here in
Again,
the group.
connecting with each other, caring for
Yes.
each other, being kind, our
Yes.
theme for the week.
And I do see a question of where Vooks is located. Now, one thing that I love about Vooks is that it's actually available around the world. So we mentioned earlier that there are millions of children around the world. That's really true. I mean, we are available everywhere. So no matter where you're from, check it out because we have Vooks for you. And if you have any trouble accessing, you can always reach out to us. You can email us at support@vooks.com and we'd be happy to help you get set up with that if you need help. Let's see. Keenan wants to know if we have Vooks in German. Not yet, but we are definitely looking into options for other languages, and it's something that we are working on. So stay tuned for that, and we'll definitely let you know.
As I mentioned earlier, Vooks is an ever-growing library. We're adding titles each week to our library.
Yep.
And certainly we are expanding into different languages and things as well.
Yeah.
So keep checking.
I have to say this, Fanny says, Vooks is awesome. Thank you very much. My pupils just love your stories.
Oh,
Thank you,
awesome.
Fanny.
Thank you. That's why we do what we do.
Yes, it's so true. We're so glad to know that you are here and that you're loving it. I know we've got some students with us as well, and we're just so thankful to have you all here with us. Now, we want to make sure that you know to be sure to join us next week. We are going to be doing this all throughout the month for our National Reading Month. And so if you want to join us on Friday, March 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, you can join us by going to Vooks.com/readalong or coming to our Facebook page here. And be sure to RSVP because we'd love to know that you're coming. So yeah, we're excited. Oh, and the title that we're going to be reading next week is one of my all-time favorites, Unicorn and Horse. And that's a good one for you parents and kids. You're all going to love it. So yeah, we're just excited to have you here with us next week. So please come again.
I'm very excited, and I so appreciate that all of you joined us today. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and please enjoy the next week and read on.
Yes, we can't wait to see you next week. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.